Hello and welcome. My name is Alan, and today we are back with more Edgar Allan Poe. Today we'll be reading a piece, if I can find where the bookmark is. It's somewhere. There we go. Name of the piece is called Some Ancient Some Account of Stonehenge, the Giant's Dance. And it says, the pile called Stonehenge is an assemblage of upright and prostrate stones on the Salisbury Plain, England. And is generally supposed to be the remains of an ancient druidical temple. From its singularity and the mystery attending its origin and appropriation, it has excited more surprise and curiosity than any other relic of antiquity in Great Britain. It is situated about 2 miles directly west of Amesbury and 7 north of Salisbury in Wiltshire. When viewed at a distance, it appears but a small and trifling object, for its bulk and character are lost in the extensive space which surrounds it. And even on a nearer examination, it fails to fulfill the expectations of the stranger who visits it with exaggerated prepossessions. To behold this wonder of Britain, it should be viewed with an artist's eye and contemplated by an intellect stored with antiquarian and historical knowledge. Stonehenge notwithstanding, much has been said to the contrary, is utterly unlike any monument now uh, remaining in Europe. Many of the stones have been squared or hewn by art, and on top of the outer circle has been raised a continued series of squared stones attacked to the uprights by mortices and tenons, or regular cavities in the horizontal blocks, with projecting points on the perpendicular ones. Nearly all other so-called examples of druidical circles are composed of rough, unhewn stones and are without imposts. Our engraving represents the present appearance of Stonehenge, a confused heap of erect and fallen stones. The original arrangement of these, however, may be readily understood, for by the situation and condition of the yet standing and prostrate members, we are enabled to judge of the number and size of those which have been removed. The whole consisted of 2 circular and 2 other curved rows of arrangements of stones, the forms and positions of which may be easily ascertained. Horizontal stones or imposts were laid all around in a continued order, and on the outer circle, and 5 similar imposts or 10 uprights in the third row. The whole is surrounded by a ditch and vallum of earth connected with which are 3 other stones. The vallum does not exceed 15 feet in height and is exterior to the ditch. Through the line of circumvallation there appears to have been one grand entrance from the northeast side, and this is decidedly marked by 2 banks and ditches called the Avenue. Approaching Stonehenge in this direction, the attention is first arrested by the immense unchiseled stone called the Friar's Hill, which is now in a leaning position and measures about 16 feet in height. Immediately within the vallum is another stone lying on the ground. It is 21 feet 2 inches long and 100 feet from the stone just mentioned, and about the same distance from the outside of the outermost circle. Each impost of this circle has 2 mortises in it, to correspond with the 2 tenons on the top of each vertical stone. The imposts were so connected as to form a continued series of architraves. The stones in the inner circle are much smaller and more irregular than those of the outer. Within these 2 circles are arranged 2 inner rows of stones, one of which constitutes the grandest portion of Stonehenge. It was formed by 5 distinct trilithons. A trilithon is a large impost upon 2 uprights. The workmanship here appears to be better. The interior row of stones, which next claims attention, consisted of 19 uprights without impost and inclined to a pyramidical form. The most perfect among them is a 7.5 foot high. The altar stone, as it is usually called, lies flat on the ground and occupies the adytum of the temple. The total number of stones of which Stonehenge was composed is, according to Dr. Smith's plan and calculation, 129. Some of these were of a compact sandstone and a fine grained grunstein, interspersed with black hornblende, feldspar, quartz, and chlorite. Some a siliceous schistous, others an argillaceous schistous, others hornstone. The altar stone is a gray cause. In regard to the history of these extraordinary monuments, there is little of any definitive nature. The earliest account of them occurs in Nennius, who lived in the 8th century. He says they were erected by the Britons to commemorate a massacre which took place at the spot. The historical triads of the Welsh refer their origin to the same cause. Camden calls the structure insana, but says nothing about it entitled to notice. Modern scholars or modern authors have been profuse in speculation, but no more. The general opinion seems to be in favor of a druidical temple. The Reverend James Ingram supposes it to have been a heathen burial place. Borlase remarks that the work of Stonehenge must have been that of a great and powerful nation, not of a limited community of priests. The grandeur of the designs, the distinction the distance of the materials and the tediousness with which all such massive works are necessarily attended, all show that such designs are the fruits of peace and religion. Bryant, whose authority we regard as superior to any, discredits the Druidical theory altogether. We may be permitted to conclude this cursory article by an extract from the Greek historian Diodorus Siculus, leaving the application of the passage to the judgment of the fancy of our readers. Among the authors of antiquity, Hecataeus and some others relate that there is an island in the ocean opposite to Celtic Gaul, and not inferior in size to Sicily, lying towards the north and inhabited by uh, Hyperboreae, who are so called because they live more remote from the north wind. The soil is excellent and fertile, and the harvest is made twice in the same year. The tradition says that Latona was here born, and therefore Apollo is worshipped above any other deity. To him is also dedicated a remarkable temple of a round form. The ancient superstitions gave the giants credit for the construction of Stonehenge, believing that the massive piles were movable but by giant power, hence the name Quaergaur, which means the giants' dance. The whole number of stones now viable amounts to 109. So, nothing frightening about that piece. He just talks, in all honesty, about Stonehenge as a historical site, as a place of curiosity. Because truly, if you know anything about the place, you have these immensely cut, hewn stones. Uh, Many of them fallen, but there's still many that stand with like two vertical rocks and then a rock sitting on top connecting the two. And they usually do form circles or semicircles within the location that they are. But ugh, but Poe just talks about them in general. It's almost like a magazine article, I would guess. Um, but that'll be the end of this episode and the end of Poe for this Spooktober. As always, educate thyself, think, read, study, learn. Someone tries to tell you something you have trouble believing, ask them to cite their sources. I'll see you all in the next video. Until then, later.